But I joined as infantry at the beginning when I did the reserve, and I transferred right away in the Vendus. I did the Vendus for a little bit more than a decade. I get deployed a lot, and pretty fast I get involved to some very interesting operation, task, and units all over the world. And after a while to do that, that was just too much. I had like flashback when I was training my guys to do like say house clearing. So when you kick a door and go inside the house, you have like a stage or whatever. I was seeing stuff all the time, and it was very bad. So much, and my body tried to protect my brain and start to erase stuff. So I started to lose a lot of what was going on. Soon as it's a little bit emotional, and could be good emotional or bad emotional, everything was shutting down. So every time I had like too much emotion, I just don't remember it. So I was always working in the gray zone. Everything was, as soon as I was speaking, I don't remember. And the name of that is dissociation. As soon as you take out like the environment you take off the identity of the person completely. So that day is kind of like, it's not even happened. That happened a bit more when I released a cell, but like the year before when I burned my lungs during a rescue, so that's why they had to take off a part of my lungs, and I had like lung cancer after that and everything like that. I wasn't able to keep going, doing my full work, doing rescues all over the place. I was able to just train the guys, and I was like, I'll be all right, but my mood changed. I started to be a little bit more like aggressive and more firm, and like some of my friends like kind of step back and say, what is going on? And when I took my retirement, I say, oh, everything would be like, I'll be all healed now, I'll be okay, I'll be right. Not at all. Like they take off my identity completely. Like now, like when I was walking in the room before, people stopped talking, and they're like, oh, respect me right away because of my experience, my rank. Now I walk anywhere, like nobody care. Nobody care about the military much in the street because we don't stop and say, oh, that's a military guy. Like I owe respect for that person. So the transition was pretty hard. I fell in depression big time, and a lot of medication, even like a bit too much medication. I kind of overdosed at some point. So my guys came in helicopter and picked me up. But I isolate myself. I isolate myself in the middle of nowhere in British Columbia, on my way almost to Alaska, kind of it. And I didn't want to see anything else anymore. With all the medication I was taking, like that was kind of like unbalancing my brain a lot. So I was not myself. So the only thing I was able to find was the best transition, the healthiest transition was sport. Because when you do sport, they eliminate those toxins faster. They regulate all those hormones you have in your brain. And first thing I know, I was able to cut down a lot of my medication. But you have to convince yourself. And it's the same thing with the guy who's like hiding himself in the basement for months. You have to say, okay, I will just try. I'll just believe and just get out of here and go see those. That organization will try to help me and maybe give me a little bit of comfort or make me feel a little bit more normal or something. The message is to all those veterans and all those guys who's hiding, isolating, is just take that first step. It's the hardest step ever. But it's the first step to fixing yourself a little bit. So it's pretty good to have somebody giving you a smile once in a while. So.